The title I put on this stream was uh, a, give, a title that could apply to so many of the initiatives that are at the core of Trump 2.0 and many Trump 1.0, giving Whitey a bad name. So this is kind of a catch-all for the various and too numerous to count uh, racist manifestations of governance that are spewing out of the White House at the direction of your illustrious president. This was one item that struck very close to home because it was here in Boston, my hometown, National League team, Red Sox fan, of course. But this incident was back on December 4th. Faneuil Hall Marketplace in downtown Boston is this beautiful structure that is referred to as often referred to as the Cradle of Liberty, because it was a place where patriots, folks like Samuel Adams and other great Boston patriots would gather in the meeting house and plan to throw shade at the British and throw them in the harbor with their tea and move on with the business of revolution. So Faneuil Hall is a beautiful gold-domed structure, which is still beautiful today. It's at the top of the Faneuil Hall Marketplace, which is just a block and a half off of the waterfront. It's really, it's magnificent. If you've ever been to Boston, you've seen it. One of the many civic events that happen at the Cradle of Liberty is swearing in ceremonies for those being naturalized as American citizens. So if you've, as they say, done all the right things and followed the law, and as a legal resident, you've made timely filings and testings and showings and paid the appropriate fees, which, of course, is part of the beauty of being American. You show up at a hearing with 2, 3, 4, 5 dozen other individuals from around the globe, and you take an oath, and you are sworn in as a United States citizen. On the 4th of December, when a number of folks from, I think it was 3 dozen different countries showed up to be sworn in at a scheduled hearing, their naturalization hearing, then the U.S. government showed up too, and they asked people to step out of line. Haitians, as well as other people that you will not be surprised to learn were people that had much healthier skin tones than I display. Black and brown people were asked to step out of line, many Haitians, but from other African countries. And they said, well, you are no longer part of the ceremony. Yours has been canceled. There was one particular woman who shall remain nameless, a woman a few years younger than myself, but she's been in the United States for 25 years from Haiti. lived an exemplary life and raised a family and was showing up to complete this uh, uh, last part of the trip, so to speak, to get her citizenship, and she was turned away with many others, which is just embarrassing, horrible, evil. Uh, you know, if you were gonna do it, provide notice, maybe provide the opportunity for a hearing. But just to show up and be plucked out of line by a bunch of masked agents. Now, she wasn't arrested, which is the only good thing that can be said about this entire adventure. But she was told to go home and she was no longer welcome in the ceremony, along with 20 or so others. And so there's a list of 19 countries that some of them are hard hard nosed and some of them are case by case, where the U.S. government, the Trump administration, Donald Trump has said we are no longer going to naturalize folks, regardless of the amount, regardless of the steps they have taken towards naturalization, again, doing it according to the law, the right way. It's over for those people for now. And those, you will not be surprised to learn that on that list are almost every country in Africa, except, unless I misread it, South Africa and Zimbabwe, which, not coincidentally, are two of the countries that Trump is giving some special treatment to. In fact, incentivizing these oppressed white farmers that are being whatever made up story they came up with to say that they were besieged and having land taken away from them, and just silly lies. But they're being invited to the U.S., transportation paid, and expedited citizenship because they are whiter than Christmas, and they'll just they'll be probably dining at Mar-a-Lago shortly. But black residents from those two countries, although they're not on the list, I can imagine, as you can, the kind of reception those people would be receiving if they went to the U.S. Embassy in their home country and petitioned legally. They would be met probably with the same treatment. And then there are a number of other countries not in Africa, but Myanmar, Burma, right? Myanmar, excuse me, Burma, and then other Afghanistan, Yemen, some of these countries that have been kind of on Donald Trump's, I'll say, shit list, because he used that shithole word to describe Haiti and other countries. Why can't we get people from other countries? It seems like we're just getting folks from the what he called the shithole countries, referring to Haiti and others, all wrapped up in the rant against Minnesota Representative Omar, which continued from last week into this week. Just the most vile, rude, racist commentary, just disgusting. So I going into the holiday season, I thought about this one beautiful woman that All she did was follow the rules and uh, wanted to get the citizenship that she worked hard for, and the naturalization process, the pride in reaching that goal. And the Trump administration is turning around and punishing these people um, indiscriminately, except for the fact that it's all people of color that they are putting the proverbial arm on. It is it's disgraceful, and I hope if you hear members of the Republican Party, members of the Trump administration, MAGA, the white Christian nationalist movement generally, as we're going into the holiday season, of course, Hanukkah first, Sunday night it begins for the eight nights, and then Christmas come obviously on the 25th. That anytime you hear a Republican member of the legislature, a member of the administration, you know, Pete Hegseth, any of the other uh, white Christian nationalists in the Trump administration, anytime you hear them invoking the Lord, Jesus Christ, in any of their speeches, in a way to suggest that they are uh, people that are uh, pious and people of, by implication, people of virtue, religiosity of some sort. I want you to laugh at them. I want you to, if it's your representative, if you're in Iowa, wherever you are, send a letter to your representative, an email in the portal, however you connect with these people, and tell them that if you're a person of faith and you hear them doing it while they're treating human beings in this fashion, I would love it, as I've been doing all along, is I would object in the strongest polite terms that you're comfortable with to that, because the GOP is famous for invoking Jesus and God when they burn books that teach about slavery, that when they exclude certain minorities from parts of the community based solely on the color of their skin. Or if they had the temerity to worship a god in a different religion, if they're Muslim, if they're Jewish, if they are any one of a number of other faiths, or if they worship none at all, they are somehow treated as less than, while the hypocritical members of the GOP, of the Republican Party, of the white Christian nationalists, of the Trump administration, invoke Jesus' name to suggest, to imply that they are living a virtuous life in keeping with the teachings of the Bible. And they're not. What they're doing, I am not a theologian, I am not a legal scholar, and I'm an imperfect human being. But I am qualified to call out hypocrisy on this, because it's every single day. Every day, the Trump administration is engaged in some activity which would I listened to the beautiful Pope Leo any day of the week. Or Father David on this platform. Listen to men men of God, men that have dedicated their lives to supporting their particular flock, their community, and spreading the word of God, of Jesus, and I'm not excluding other religions, and there are uh, rabbis and imams that are doing the exact same thing, but few, Chuck Schumer, Jewish member of Congress. There is Ms. Uh, Omar, who is Muslim. But the vast majority of the ones that you hear about invoking the name of God or Jesus are the Christians. And more frequently than not, it is the white Christian nationalist ones that are more fervent in their protestations against various unholy things while they support pedophiles and Jeffrey Epstein and other truly horrifying the Tate brothers, who got to the Trump sons and subsequently were pardoned after being convicted of rape and sex trafficking, and they were living in Romania and were told that they weren't to leave the country until they were the Trump administration through Eric and Don Jr. intervened on their behalf, and the younger son Barron as well. You know, I don't hear, except for that very unfortunate incident where Trump stood outside holding up a Trump Bible upside down, whatever, yeah, I guess 1.0. But at least the very, if you want to give credit to DJT, is that he's not invoking the name of God or Jesus as he is brutalizing people of color in the United States. I don't know if he'll be giving a speech and selling Trump Bibles. Perhaps when visitors come for the FIFA World Cup, beginning in, believe it or not, 5 or 6 months, when they're coming here and wondering whether they're going to be brutalized or arrested because they have, visitors from other countries that have a much healthier skin tone than I myself have. How would you feel arriving from, if you are MBS, you've got private transportation, and if you're coming to an event like that, the World Cup, you're probably pretty safe because you have security retinue, and you can reserve entire floors of the Four Seasons in New York or wherever you're staying. But just common people like you and I, imagine you have a son or a daughter who is an avid soccer or football player, loves the game, and they've come of age, and you've waited 4 years, and your team has made it the final cut, and they're playing in Mexico, Canada, and then the finals in the U.S. Mexico and Canada, you're good. Our friends north of the border, some of the sweetest and most welcoming people you'll ever meet. Less so after Trump insults them, and Ronald Reagan announced from the grave that he's actually Canadian. So we can we can all enjoy that. And Mexican people equally as cordial and welcoming. But imagine you're writing a check for round trip air travel with you and your spouse and your minor child are traveling from an African country to watch your team participate in the World Cup. And this is your life's one of your life's goals on your proverbial bucket list, to bring your child to watch the World Cup together as a family and enjoy that sort of that celebration in the game that they love, and they aspire to be some football player from Argentina, or a full size human being, or Pele. How old am I? And they've told all their friends at school that they're going to the U.S. to watch the World Cup, and they arrive to what? So they're in Mexico, have a great time, or they begin in I'm gonna guess it's Toronto, because I don't know if they're playing in Montreal, one of my top 5 cities in the entire universe. And they enjoy that, and the team goes on, and they make it to the finals, and they're going to the U.S. To watch that. Some of that's going to be right here in Massachusetts at Foxborough Stadium, where the soon-to-be world champion New England Patriots play. And you've seen the videos. So you have these teams of masked, armed, although firearms training was cut, um, vigilantes in sort of in uniform, running around and grabbing up people based on the color of their skin. So you paid overused expression here. You took out a second mortgage to pay for the cost of a trip, meaning it's just very expensive. But you have saved for 4 years to take this child on the adventure of a lifetime, and you have to be concerned about masked bandits. You're not a U.S. citizen, you're a visitor. Sure, there will be visas, and the Trump administration, I'm sure, is working on a way to uh, make this fireproof. But everything they've done so far has been a terrible disappointment. So if you have a great deal of confidence in their ability to get this right, then you're a better person than I am. And you're probably a better person than I am to begin with. But I don't have a great deal of faith in people that are driven by racism and hate to turn that around. I mean, they're hearing from business leaders and like, is there anything you can do? Can you stand down during the World Cup so we can make money? I mean, every business, every organized crime family, every person that is open for business in the United States has a chance to make a boatload of money during World Cup. If you're selling T-shirts, if you're selling lemonade, if you're providing transportation, if you're providing Airbnb accommodations, otherwise, there is, it's. I don't. I usually have these numbers off the top of my head, but I was so angry rereading the accounts of December 4th that I opened with that. But it's many billions of dollars of economic impact, of GDP impact on the United States. It's nearly $1 billion in Mexico, and I think it's something like call it $1 billion in Mexico, $1.3 or $1.4 billion for Canada, and upwards of $3 billion impact for the United States. How can you, as the expression, as guys that were born in the 60s, how can you screw up a free lunch? FIFA, the second most corrupt organization on the planet after the Trump administration, is doing their best to promote it, and they're helping you make, as Americans, make money. They're going to take their rip because they're FIFA, and they've got their hands in the cookie jar, just like Trump has his tiny hands and dirty fingerprints all over that FIFA trophy that he was given before the draw in Washington last month. But let it happen. Stand down the troops, and let's not get anybody hurt during the World Cup, and make it a bigger embarrassment than the Trump administration has made in just 1 year. So hopeful for small business people, for you and I, who I won't go to a FIFA game in Massachusetts, because I'm not a soccer fan. I'm an American football fan. My shortcoming. But I'll enjoy being amongst the crowds of visitors in downtown Boston that will be reveling in the sense of brotherhood and sisterhood and sportsmanship and national pride and national competition and all of the fun things that come along with arguably the biggest worldwide sporting event equal to the Super Bowl. Again, it's 6 months away, but this story, picking people out of line that have earned the right to take the oath, to be sworn in, to be naturalized. You've heard your illustrious president speak recently about denaturalization, and it sounds almost like a cartoon. It sounds like a denaturalization, a word like that. It sounds like bullshit, like a made up thing. There is denaturalization. That is a thing that is in the U.S. In the code, in the statutes. What they prove is somebody that, for instance, if you came here and were naturalized and were made representations, false representations, I think within 10-year statute of limitations, and you said, for instance, "Hi, I'm here from Colombia," and you failed to disclose on your paperwork that you had been arrested for a minor marijuana possession. I don't know. I'm just making this up. For a minor infraction, but you were arrested in your country of origin, and you failed to disclose that. And then, so what the Trump administration, if they want to denaturalize people, the path of least resistance to achieving that is to AI or otherwise find people that were naturalized U.S. citizens, not people that were born here, but people that were naturalized. And if they have access to, say, cooperative governments, like the F boys, like in El Salvador, and unfortunately, in the beautiful country of Argentina, who are beholden to Trump, will dump information to the Trump administration, to Pamela Joe Bondi, and provide all of that information. And they'll find some people that they can try to pick off. It's unfortunate. Other countries around the world will also, people that are MAGA aligned, may there be less of them in coming years, will provide that information too. So, but it's reprehensible. It's sad. It's not what America should be about. But that is these are the current cards that we've been dealt. We will just prepare ourselves for success. First step is midterm elections, and that really begins almost now. Midterm elections are at the beginning of November, so people will be campaigning. There will be lots of attempts. I'm sure plenty of innovative ways to upset the electoral process that Trump and his administration are planning right now. But do your part. Get involved if you haven't yet. Collective action, which is what I repeat all the time. Punish those companies that align themselves with the MAGA movement and are supportive to the administration. Those companies that are harming their own employees by taking this brown pill of woke anti-DEI silliness. Right? Those are, the companies, the Disney experience. They felt the pain. Target, they felt the pain when they walked back all of their DEI policies and ended up harming their own staff. Reward Costco. Be skeptical of Starbucks. All the information's out there. That Google machine has got lots of information. And do your part. If you're not somebody that wants to be vocal, if you don't want to go out and physically protest, then do your part with your family finances. Make intelligent buying decisions that are consistent with your beliefs. And by all means, if you are somebody who is a MAGA Trump sympathizer, you can find your people too, and you can support those causes that are in favor of harming people based on the color of their skin. If you celebrate that, if racism is at the core of who you are as what you might have considered a human being, then free country, at least for the moment. Support the tech bros that have aligned themselves, excuse me, with Donald Trump, and continue to support causes that harm U.S. citizens because of the color of their skin, or who they choose to, the God that they choose to worship. If you believe you want to live in a country where people are punished for their national origin, for their religious beliefs, for who they love, if you believe those people should be punished, and you're a MAGA true believer, then you have choices to make too with your purchasing decisions. So I feel bad for you. I pity you, but it brings me back also to the administration and the GOP standing out there and what under the name, um, evoking the name of Jesus, God, or some other deity, claiming that you are a fervent and pious believer in a higher power, and that higher power supports the Trump administration's vile, racially motivated hate speech and actions. If you there's something wrong with you. So, but to be productive, contact your local representative and speak out and say that you are opposed to the person that represents you in your district. You are opposing essentially them besmirching the name of the God that you worship, because if they are hypocritically taking holding out the name of Jesus as they support people that physically harm others, that attack people because of racial animus, that's a disconnect. So, but again, it's still a free country. We're approaching the holiday season for something positive. So, uh, hypocrisy. So, this one final thing. If you took the red pill initially, I'm going to take without a pill, a drink of water. When you when you have quick aside, the dog has left me alone. The wind storm that was blowing yesterday is still around, and it's driving the dog nuts. But somehow he's managed to leave me alone, and I'm about to let you free for the day. So you survived, and he survived. And when I lose my voice, um, uh, radiation and chemo for something in here earlier this year. So sometimes my wonderful singing voice that I never had in my entire life gets comes under pressure. So that's fun, and that's just me. But here's if you want to take a stand against the hypocrisy that's coming out of the White House, that is all over Capitol Hill, not limited to Republicans. There's hypocrisy enough to go around of politicians is as since the founding of the republic. But when you think of, excuse the crude expression, Bible thumping people, people that often are the first ones to scream, unlike Brother James Tellerico, who is one of the most inspiring leaders of our time, and he'll be in a spirited contest with Jasmine Crockett, which will be great for our country, and it will allow both of them to connect with Americans in a genuine and meaningful way while they are calling out the hypocrisy of the Republican Party at a very high and inspired level. I am so ready for that contest. I wish we could pick both, but obviously they're young people, brilliant. Ms. Crockett, an attorney, Mr. Tellerico, I believe just finishing off his degree in divinity, if I'm not mistaken, but but genuine human beings, and in Miss Crockett's style right now is exactly what we need. Exactly what we need. So the hate and the racism flying at her from within and without Texas. And she just turns around, smiles the beautiful smile, and gives it back in triplicate. And uh, I am just so grateful for her presence in our world and on the political stage. So, a positive message as we go towards the holidays: redemption. How about this? You voted for Donald Trump, and you said, as many people did, "Oh, well, I voted for the tax policy because I'm a rich person." Not me. I'm making this fictional respondent. That for my family, my 401k, my kids' inheritance, and all of those important things. So I'm going to kind of waive my responsibility as a father to set a good example for my kids in exchange for the opportunity, because of the tax cuts, to grow my 401k and my savings accounts. um, you're not taking gains. You're have your assets, and of course, you take lower salary, and you take a loan against your assets because it's better for tax purposes, and all the things that rich people, all the hoops they have to jump through. We feel so so bad for all the work that they have to do to stay wealthy. But you legitimately didn't buy in for the racism. You came just for the tax policy. Okay. So what are you doing about it now? There's no ambiguity. We've had a year. People have been harmed physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every other possible way. Um, they've been their dignity ripped from their families, sent to El Salvador, some to sub-Saharan Africa, other places. Um, uh, Horrible. What tantamount to torture. So what are you doing now? You look towards the holidays, and you want to spend quality time with your family. You took the red pill. What are you doing to get right with your country, with your God, with your children, with your grandchildren? What are you doing to say, I'm taking a principled stand against hate and against racism because it's the right thing to do? Whether you connect on a regular basis with a higher power, you're atheist, agnostic, Buddhist, or some other uh, Taoist, or other, um, Seventh Day Adventist, whatever, however you connect, you stop and you say, "This has to end. I can't. I'm the leader of a major American corporation. I can't get out on my soapbox." Faneuil Hall Marketplace. I'm going to drop a picture of Faneuil Hall in the feed. I know everybody's seen it, but I'm going to do it because I began there. I can't get on a soapbox and I can't speak out because I have wait for it, a responsibility to the shareholders. So, right? Milton Friedman. Primary responsibility of a CEO is to, shareholder value. No, I would say, in the most charitable way I can in the holiday spirit, is Fuck Milton Friedman and all who ride with him. As I wrote in a piece earlier this week, I've been using the paper from Milton Friedman's textbooks as toilet paper for decades. It's not time for shareholder value. It's time for supporting your fellow citizens, regardless of who they believe in, the color of their skin, who they love, what team they play for, well, they root for. I mean, things are so bad. I'm going to start liking Yankees fans soon. Not soon, but I'm working towards it. I know I have to think about it at least. I have to contemplate what it would mean to tell a Yankees fan that I love them as a human being. I'm working against it for about 6 decades now, so it's going to take me a little time. I just. If you took the red pill, are you making a change? Are you making a positive change? Are you at least speaking to your family about doing something positive for those that have been so profoundly affected by the hate and the racism and the violence, killing people, the number of men that won't be spending Christmas with their families in Venezuela, the beautiful country of Venezuela. That it's been a while. I love the country. I love the people. They won't be going home to have Christmas with their families because they're dead at the bottom of the ocean. Why? Because a weekend Fox News host decided to shoot missiles at their boat. Permission granted by Donald Trump. But there are no controls in the government any longer. Military, the code of conduct, when you fire all the JAGs, it's difficult. But Trump can stop this today. He can stop it tomorrow. I don't have a great deal of faith. The Supreme Court could be helpful, but they show every sign of of supporting only the expansion of executive power, and uh, which is a horrible idea. It's a bad idea now, and with the Republican administration, with specifically a Trump administration. I'm not anti-Republican. I'm anti-Trump. But it's also a bad idea, and the Democratic Party comes back to power because checks and balances are destroyed. So, in any case, I've gone on way too long. Wishing you all a beautiful weekend. I'll be back at some point tomorrow, Sunday. I don't know. Um, but think about this: if you're if you took the red pill and you realized you made a bad mistake, 401k's up, you're happy, you can support future generations of your children's spawn better. I mean, congratulations. That's it's wonderful. What being in a capitalist society is all about. That's your birthright, but not to the exclusion of being human, is what I would argue. So yeah. So there's red pill, but there's also red Kool-Aid. You know, different people at different times in different cults have made different choices, and I hope that those that took the red pill will turn and see the light of day, the beauty of their children's faces, and intellect and curiosity and goodness, and you're able to undo what the red pill did for you in some meaningful way. So, thank you, and have a beautiful afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Kindly do that restack thing, and I will be in touch with you all in the very near future. Thank you so much, and thank you to the beautiful 10-pound assassin that didn't bark because of the wind. Have a great day today.